much greater need in Akron that I can't see.
I could eventually, stood up and postured myself in a very prideful way. You kind of lose focus. Sometimes you have to step outside of yourself. And how can we go refocus our attention on how we can serve others in this time?
And so I've just been praying, Lord, how do we see the people that really need the most help? The people that need groceries, the people that need encouragement. And so I thought of Kemp.
If there's a way for us to engage or to be involved, man, we want to do that. And I think that we've been transparent in some of the different events and activities that we've done, not only from the platform of Love Akron, but what we've been able to do now in partnership with other organizations.
Don't do anything else today. Just make sure that you love Akron.
Make sure that you love Akron.
Whatever you do today, wherever you go today, just make sure that you love Akron.
And early on, one of the things I said to Coach Kemp was, I'm like, I'm an employee of Love Akron. We're going to do this black and white conversation. Conversation versus collision. I said, Coach, if we're going to do this, and then we're going to get to that point where we're just rocking and singing Kumbaya, I was like, then can I respectfully ask that you count me out? Because one, if this is not a forever challenge or a sign, if this is not something that we're going to do forever, I just don't want to do it. I want to do something that's going to truly make impact. So I think it's important for us to make note of the fact that this is a commitment for Love Akron forever. Hey, Facebook, YouTube, and other social media platforms. How are you? I am so glad that you have joined us today for another Love Akron Live. I am Lori Porter, and I am the operations coordinator for Love Akron. I know you probably were looking for Coach Kemp, and as many of you know, he had a bit of a bout with COVID, did land in the hospital for a couple of days, but he has been back home for over a week now. He's doing well. As a matter of fact, I talked to him yesterday. He was actually taking a walk. So he went from not being able to barely, I mean, literally, he could barely make it from the stairs in the basement to the main floor without being completely out of breath, to now being back out, getting a little bit better on his regimen, walking, getting in shape. Well, he told me he lost a little bit of weight because he didn't have much of an appetite. I thought, well, I'm a little jealous about that, but let me tell you the truth. I wouldn't want COVID. So I'll be a little thicker of the two of us, and he'll be slim and trim, getting his beach body ready, right? Listen, today, I'd like to just, solicit that you continue to pray for him and pray for Love Akron. But we're here live with you each and every Wednesday at the same time. We're right here at 1:30, where we come to just share with you and the community some of the resources and things that are available to help make your life better. And so on these fourth Wednesdays, we're going to start spotlighting our partners. You say, what is a partner? Well, they're actually people that have come to the table that in many cases had already been at the table with Love Akron for many years in a supportive role. And we have supported many of them, vice versa. But as we came into 2019 and 2020 before COVID, Coach Kemp had begun to talk to us about the importance of solidifying our partnerships in the community. And so it just gave a greater buy-in. At Love Akron, as you all know, we are the hub that convenes change makers to do what? To make collective impact. And why do we need collective impact? So that our city can thrive. I was talking to a gal the other day, and she paid Akron a high compliment. She talked about the collaborative works that go on in our city and how organizations are working together and striving together to meet whatever the needs are in our community. So whether it's race relations or feeding the hungry, Love Akron is right here, being that hub, the bridge builder that brings together the classes, cultures, congregations of our city. Well, partnership. We've got guests out there. I think Ann Ream is out there today from Summit County Children's Services. I saw Matt Reed out there from Direction Home, and my friend Brian Roach from Alexander Body. I think we can bring them all on the screen. Hey! Hi! So favorite people in the world. So glad to have you all with us on today. I'm super excited to talk about what you all experienced in your businesses as a result of what we've seen with COVID. But more than that, you all were able to pivot and continue to serve the community. We have not-for-profits on here. We have for-profits that we partner with, and they're all doing great work to make impact within the city of Akron. So how are you guys doing? Just a shout out, if you will. We'll go to Matt, then Brian, and then Ann. How's things over in your side of town?
Busy but good. We are continuing to help with some additional COVID resources at Direction Home, so older adults and people with disabilities can be as safe as well. And we were busy before, and now we're even busier, and that's a good thing. Thanks for having me.
Yes, thanks for being here. Brian?
We've been steady. We've hit when traffic is down 35 to 40%, collisions are going to be down. So COVID has been a challenge for us, but we implemented philosophy across the board. We said, stay positive, be proactive, and as we come out of this, we will thrive. So we're positive, proactive, and we will thrive.
Yeah, yeah, excellent. And I know that it's not stopped you all from being supportive of the many nonprofits in our community. You all have been such a blessing there at Alexander Body. And I just want to say personally, I see the work behind the scenes that you all do, and we certainly appreciate your support that keeps pushing us all forward. And then last but not least, Ann, how's the weather over there?
Hi.
Arlington, or if you're at home these days?
Well, I'm actually in the office today. Many of our staff are still working remotely. I just want to thank you, Lori, for having me today, and thank you, Love Akron. We always love coming on and talking with you all about these important topics. Yes, we made pivots here at the agency right away a year ago, and most of our staff did, start shuffling at home, and we made some changes. And as you know, our top priority is always safety for the kids and families that we serve, as well as our staff and our communities. So we've made those changes quite successfully. We've made changes internally too. We hope that it'll be quick enough for us to return. But throughout the pandemic, we were still offering our essential services to make sure that we are assessing children and families when there's concerns of abuse and neglect in our community.
Absolutely. And you know, that's at the depth of my heart, the work that you all do at Children's Services. As a matter of fact, one of our initiatives here at Love Akron is the least of these, and Children's Services, along with Rahab, are two of our partners that work the most in that area. Well, I'm going to kind of wave Brian and Ann off for a few moments and just spend a couple of minutes with Matt talking about Direction Home, sharing a bit of a testimony and sharing with our viewing audience what Direction Home does and how Direction Home can help them. And then also take a hot second and talk about the benefit of partnership with Love Akron. So Brian and Ann, we'll see you in just a bit.
Okay.
Matt, thank you so much for being here with us. You know that Direction Homes is literally one of my favorite organizations. I mean, I have so many favorites, but I love sitting down with you guys and talking. It's interesting when you have the opportunity to sit at the round table and go behind the scenes and actually feel and see the heart of the men and the women that are behind the work. Some people are just doing the work because it's a job to do. And there are other folks that are just truly passionate about making a difference. So what's happening at Direction Homes? What do we need to know about? I know I emailed you the other day. My family had a little bit of a crisis, and somebody once said it's not what you know, it's who you know. But I'm telling you that if you call, everybody's important over there at Direction Homes. And kudos to you guys, because you do such amazing work to, again, help the least of us. The scripture tells the church, in fact, to care for the widows and the orphans. And I know you guys see a ton of that. Talk to us a little bit about what you do at Direction Home and what's been happening lately.
Thank you, Lori. You're one of my favorites too, I'll say.
Thank you.
It's been a pleasure to work with Love Akron over the past couple of years. I've got to say that they just do a tremendous of linkage and partnership and really networking and getting people connected. That's just a phenomenal benefit to the friendship and partnership we've developed over the years. I am with Direction Home, Akron Canton Area Agency on Aging and Disabilities. That's a long name. That means we are the Area Agency on Aging for Portage, Stark, Summit, and Wayne counties. We provide services to keep older adults and people with disabilities in their own homes where they want to thrive and live their best lives. And we do that through a range of supportive services. We offer everything from meal programs to educational programs to care managed programs that bring services to the home. The number one thing that we do that I love to talk about is our Aging and Disability Resource Center. Anybody can call that and can get linked up with a professional that will spend one-on-one time with you over the phone to talk about you or your loved one's situation and make good recommendations and solid follow through and referrals so that folks can have an idea of how to age really well in the community. They don't teach you that in school, and so you have to seek out that information And nobody wants to think about getting older, but we're all doing it, God willing. So it's good to know and to plan. One of our things that we definitely want to make sure people understand is that it's good to know things even before you need them. And COVID really taught us that. We've seen a lot of folks that didn't really need help before now say, I don't feel it's safe to go out and get groceries, or, I'm having a hard time. And so we've helped a lot of additional folks now over the past year who didn't see themselves needing help, a year prior.
Yeah. Let me tell you what's amazing is that I'll be 60 the last day of this month, right? And so it positions you in a different place. And you are absolutely correct, because I never really thought a little bit about retirement and retirement planning, but not nearly as much as what I'm thinking about these days. Because right here at the cusp of 60, I could technically retire in 2 years. I could technically retire in 5. I could technically retire in 7. But I'm thinking about not retiring, but simply retooling and finding better things to do. But, there are things that happen in life. And just because I'm planning to do those things, it doesn't mean that will be what's in the plan for my life. So, if you could give any tips to folks that, let's say, are the 50 and older group, what are some of the things you would tell them to maybe consider that you think that you see could have been beneficial had they started planning, say, 10 years before retirement age?
That's a really great question, Lori. And I read a statistic once that said people have a 50-50 chance of needing long-term services and supports sometime in their life. And that means care in the home or in a facility that's going to allow you to continue to live and do your activities of daily living. So you can think about that as flipping a coin. And if it lands on heads, then you won't need to come to our agency right away. But if it lands on tails, you're going to need some of the information and assistance that we provide. That's a heady statistic, and it's one that folks don't really, like I said, they don't really want to think about. But boy, it makes a difference when you're planning for your best life, as you continue to age. To your question about what resources and services should folks be thinking about, there's a lot, but definitely getting educated as to what pays for what. I have made part of my career really addressing the misconception that Medicare will continue to pay for services as long as you need them if you qualify for Medicare. And that's just not how it works. If folks need to go to a nursing home, if folks need to have home care, if you fall and you break a hip and you are, needing ongoing care, Medicare will not cover that forever. And so just knowing that really kind of puts things into perspective. Finding out what your options are as you age, finding out what resources and supports are there, like Direction Home and others, is a really, really important first step. I would be remiss if I didn't speak to the partnerships that we've developed over the years with probate court. Judge Stormer's probate court does a fantastic job of making sure people understand that living wills and durable power of attorneys, those end of life paperwork kind of things that nobody really wants to think about, boy, are they important. And just because you sign up for them does not mean that you're going to have a bad incident. I think that folks think, I'm going to make these decisions and then I'm going to, something bad's going to happen.
Yes. That's really interesting, because I grew up in a culture that sometimes it was like funeral planning. Nobody wanted to plan their funeral, as if they thought because they planned their funeral that they would just automatically suddenly die. And I think that, if we're talking to folks, if our audience today, consists of any folks that are, I'd say 50 and older, not that you shouldn't worry about it every day, or not worry, but plan for it every day. I want to say, especially to the 50 and older folks, that we have to think about what's going to happen if I can't take care of myself. Who's going to make financial decisions for myself? And it was interesting to me because my parents, it took me years to talk them into going to see an attorney. And finally, one day, my dad was telling me about a guy that went to his church at St. Mary's here in town. And I said to him, I said, well, Dad, why don't you go talk to him, and you and Mom go and, put some things in writing, whatever it is that your wishes are. And it was interesting because my dad said, great, make the appointment. I did. And I got to the attorney's office, and he and his partner looked at me and said, okay, they'll be ready in about 2 hours. You can come back. I was like, oh, excuse me. I didn't know I didn't get to go in. And so I know that the next week when everything was ready, I called my brother and my sister, and I said, well, finally got mom and dad to do a will. I don't know what their decisions have been, but they're going to kind of go through the will and all that today. If you guys want to come, because I think it's important for everybody to be on the same page and know what people's wishes are while they're in good health before their health declines. And so it worked out very well for us because I am, in fact, I was my parents' power of attorney. So it became my responsibility to care for them irregardless. Power of attorney versus medical power of attorney. Tell us about that just a little bit, Matt, because I don't know that people understand that you can have a power of attorney, but when somebody dies, the power of attorney dies with them.
So the really good and fun thing about my position at Direction Home is I don't need to know a lot about everything. I just need to know a little bit about people to where they need to be. And so I never go into too much detail about those specifics. What I do is I tell folks, these are very complex and complicated items that need to be thought about. Here's what you do. You call our 800 number. It's 877-770-5558. That's our Aging and Disability Resource Center. Those trained professionals are going to walk you through resources to answer that question and many more, Lori. I'm not a lawyer. I don't play one on TV, and so I don't want to give anybody any advice that I don't really know about. I am one of those guilty folks that don't have all of my own planning done already. And I will be 44 this year, so I should be thinking about that as well. But I've sat down with my parents and we've talked about it. They've gotten their paperwork done now. It's like I said, it's something that folks don't really want to think about, but they don't teach you this stuff. And so being educated as to what the resources are is so important. I had no idea what folks could do to get home delivered meals for their loved ones or an emergency response button. Years and years ago, it was the help I've fallen and I can't get up button. And, how do you get one of those? How does it work? Do I need that if I have a cell phone? I mean, little questions like that can go a long way towards keeping folks happy and healthy in the place they want to call home. And that's like you just mentioned about between powers of attorney. What should I do? We're a really great place to start to find answers to those. If we don't know, then we'll get you to the folks that do.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You are absolutely right. You guys have done that. I remember at the beginning of COVID, you all had food, could deliver meals, and we brought you guys right on. Like, I think we were talking at 9 a.m. and by 1:30, we had you on the live. And so that's the blessing. That's one of the blessings of partnership. I know that you all have some information that was just dispersed on this week about a upcoming event that you have. It's virtual. People can attend, but it will give information to old and young about the things that you need to know to help you seal the gaps, if you will, I like to call them. When life hits you hard, there's some gaps. How do we seal those gaps? And so we will, that information is on your website, I'm sure. And what is your website again, if you'll share that with us?
It's www.dhad, that stands for Direction Home Aging and Disabilities.org. So it's HAD.org. You can also find us on Facebook, find us on Twitter. Just search for Direction Home Akron Canton, and there we are. We'll have really great information for you. Lori, the event you mentioned is designed for faith leaders in the community, really trying to get them to be educated around helping their parishioners, congregations, to make sure that they have all the information they need to age successfully. And I really appreciate your efforts and Love Akron's help on getting the word out about that and many other things. I can't speak highly enough about being a partner for Direction Home. You all are fantastic. I love seeing you. I hope to see Coach soon. I wish him the best as well. And I can't wait to meet in person again, Lori. I miss it.
I know. Our first meeting was a great meal down at Oh my gosh, I don't even remember the restaurant, but our first initial meeting, just an amazing time together. I tell you, Matt, I know you got to go. I know you got a 2 o'clock, you got a hard stop, but I want to say thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you to Direction Home. Tell your team there, we appreciate the work that you all are doing in the community and how you're following up with folks. I want to say if you have a need, even if you don't think your need can be met by Direction Home, Matt mentioned the 211 information line that folks can call. You can go to the email and you can get in touch with them to get help for whatever it is. Well, Matt, I want to say, is there a closing shout out? Do you have a tip for how to stay above during the COVID season? What's helped you the most? Stay at steady balance.
I'm going to talk to you as just a personal note. My wife got signed up for the vaccine on Friday. And once I had that appointment, I felt like this weight being lifted off my shoulders. So that's one of the things that's really helped me personally and professionally and otherwise. You just have to surround yourself with amazing people like Lori and the people I get to work with. Don't let yourself be isolated. Even use these cameras are extend, when you leave your house. So do what you need to do. Take care of yourselves.
Yeah. Well, Matt, thank you so much for being with us. And we'll see you again before the year is out. Folks, go online, find out more information about Direction Homes. They are there to help each of us to make sure that our city thrives. That's why collaboration is so important. Collaboration is important because it takes every sector, the for-profit, the nonprofit, those that are helping the elderly, those that are helping the children, and then those in the marketplace. I know Brian Roach is out there. He and his cousin John head up Alexander Body over on South Main Street. They have always been a blessing to the community. And so we're going to ask Brian to come back on, and we're just going to chat a little bit about what's been happening over at Alexander Body. I want you to know, Brian, I bought a new car. And I was looking at the carpet the other day, and I know that you all, if you are a senior pastor, a lead pastor of a church, not a minister, we are not trying to, but if you lead a congregation, you are the lead pastor. They have always provided I call it like a semi-detail because they clean it inside and out, and it was absolutely free. Are you guys still doing that?
Yeah, we call that our pastor wash program. And what we do is every single vehicle that we do work on, it's a way of us sharing our faith. So we give a certificate that person can give to anybody involved in their church or a nonprofit that says, hey, swing by and we'll wash and we'll clean your car. The idea behind that was that, pastors are only on call 24/7. So when do they have time to fix and clean their car? So anytime any pastor out there has an hour, I'd say, just to make it safe, they can swing by here and we'll give their car a quick bath and we'll clean it out. And it's just our way of giving back to the pastors for all that they do.
Yeah. John and I have had some of the best conversations while I'm getting my car washed. And I mean, you guys are awesome. I've watched you all support not just, Love Akron, but I mean, there's so many organizations that you all are supporting with your dollars, but also with your service. I've seen you and John, Alexander Body, just step up to the plate and truly make impact in our community. So, first of all, you talked about 30% less traffic, less accidents. That's less dollars in, less dollars out. How did COVID affect your staff? What were some of the challenges?
Yeah, well, we immediately deemed that we were essential because we were listed on the essential guideline list from the governor. So we were staying open. So we told our staff that whether they were painting walls, whether they were organizing things, no matter what, that our staff was going to stay working. We treat our staff, once you come on board, you're part of the family. So, we weren't going to leave our family behind at all in any way. So that was our approach. And then, a hailstorm hit, and all of a sudden there were lots of other shops that, because they were slow and because they hadn't done proper planning with their business, they couldn't stay open. They shut down. We ended up flooded with work after the hailstorm last March. So, while COVID slowed everyone else down, we're setting record months. I mean, April, May, and June were all record months in our 93-year history. So, the fact that we were staying open and we were ready, I mean, it was amazing, because cars would pull in and they'd say, "Are you open?" We're like, "Yeah." And they're like, "Well, I just went to where I used to go and they're not open." And I'm like, "Well, we're open. Come on in." So we had a crazy 3 or 4 months because of that. And then the traffic effect hit after that. So, I mean, we really didn't feel anything until the fourth quarter. Fourth quarter, we saw a significant dip, not only in our growth, but also where we were previously. So, as far as the staffing, we were able to keep everyone fully busy and active all through 2020 and that. So that was a blessing. And the other thing was the extra hoops that we had to jump through. Everyone knows, mask, shields, safety. But the other stuff we had to do is, it added work on us, because, first of all, somebody's they're driving their car to come to us and then dropping it off for us to work on it. And when we're done, people are moving it and then giving it back to them quick. So there's all concern about, transfer of COVID through that. So we promptly found a product called Bactro Kill. So we had to desanitize the car when it came in and desanitize it before we gave it back to them. So that added chaos to our work schedule, but we managed. And then the biggest effect, and this is something that's going to change moving forward, and it's very scary, is all of the big companies, Nationwide, Allstate, Liberty Mutual, State Farm, they all grounded all of their people. So the people that used to come into our shop and look at the damage and tell us what we were allowed to fix or what was related to the accident weren't allowed to come out. So we're all of a sudden having to take anywhere from 30 to 120 pictures, send pictures to them, and they're looking at pictures on their computer telling us how to fix a car. So it made it so much harder, because you can't see in pictures what is right in front of you.
Right.
So we absorbed 30 or 40% more work that the insurance companies didn't have to do anymore. So it just made the process much longer, and it made it more difficult. So that really affected our office and our cycle time.
Yeah. What kind of, because I know you guys are always involved. I remember one time you guys were passing out food, hot dogs and hamburgers. I mean, I've never seen a marketplace business like you all. I mean, you guys are really like boots on the ground. Like, there's always this desire to make North Akron and all of Greater Akron better. But you guys are positioned in North Akron. And so I think they benefit, just being where you're located. But what other things have you guys been able to kind of participate in during the COVID season that kind of helped you all feel like you were meeting not just margin, as you described those first two quarters, but mission that gave you all a sense of like, it might be COVID, we might have some challenges, but I think God's smiling on us. What does anything come to mind?
Yeah. Well, I mean, as soon as the COVID started becoming so prevalent, everybody was worried what's going to happen to the business? What's going to happen to our economy? What's going to happen to my job? So I'm big on themes. And, one of our themes is, you're not an employee, you're part of the family. Your family is part of the family. So, while you're worrying about your finances and how you're going to pay the bills and how you're going to put food on the table for your family at night, John and I are worrying about our family, our employees, and our employees' family. So everybody's always worrying, about their individual situation. We look at it as much bigger than that. So we're responsible for upwards of 90 to 110 lives, and every night we have to lay our head on the pillow and know that we've done everything we can to give them ease and comfort and be properly prepared to take care of them moving forward. So my theme that John and I came up with was, first of all, we need to remain positive because everybody was so scared. Everybody was fearful, and created worry. Okay. And, the Bible talks about worry and, where that comes from. So we said we need to remain positive. Okay. So that was step one. Next part is proactive. We can't sit here and do everything the way we used to do it and think things are going to remain the same. So that's where, we immediately moved quickly to get a mobile app that allowed people that weren't comfortable coming to our shop to take photos of their vehicle and start the process by using the mobile app for us to assess the damage and get things started. So that was being proactive. So it was positive, proactive. And if we remained positive and we were proactive, when things changed, we were going to thrive. So positive, proactive, and thrive. So, we just remained positive and we were proactive. What did we do? We did the mobile app. We did a lot of extra safety and sharing the safety that we were doing. And then the other part was designing educational tools to let people know that, the insurance company that's steering you towards the shop they want you to go to, or is doing their mobile app to give you a shorter or small estimate, is really not doing what's in your best interest. They're doing what's in their best interest. And it's in our best interest to find all of the damage and correctly fix the car in a safe and appropriate manner so that, you get what you paid for. So, we had to create educational tools so that people understood. And it's one of the things I like to say, never trust anybody that owes you money. But the minute you're in an accident, you have one of the wealthiest corporations in the world, an insurance company, that owes you money. Okay, don't let them tell you how to fix a car. They're an insurance company. Okay, they're only paying to fix it. Let us tell you what needs to be done to fix it, and we'll tell them, and they will pay.
Yes.
So just because they're saying, oh no, you don't need a pre-scan on that car, you don't need a post-scan. Well, wait a minute. A pre-scan and a post-scan could clear a code that makes sure that your lane assist is properly aligned, or that your airbag is still going to go off. They don't want us to do a pre-scan and a post-scan because it costs them money. But they want us to take the responsibility for appropriate repair. So they don't allow us to do a pre-scan and a post-scan. We fix your car, you go down the road, you get in another accident, the airbag doesn't go off. Who's responsible? We are.
Right.
So you're going to pay us to appropriately clear the code or address everything.
Yes.
So, all kinds of things.
That's amazing. Brian, the word that came to mind as you were talking is integrity. And that's what I can say about Alexander Body, is that you all have always operated at the highest level of integrity. And so even that example, for you all to be able to say, that's not in your best interest as a consumer, because not only do you want to get the best product, but you want to be safe. And so I admire that about you all. So I know we've got Ann in the backstage waiting to come out, but tell us just quickly how you have gotten through COVID. Now, I know you took a trip. I'm gonna look over my glasses at you. I'm like, what? He didn't didn't take the whole team, but anyway, how have you managed to fare, whether it's a one tank trip? You know, I'm a fan of one tank trips. You just get in the car and you drive and stop and eat and come back. You know, you just use a half a tank of gas up and enjoy the scenery, and the sun is back out. But how have you managed, you know, leading in your organization to kind of keep the balance, stay tempered? How have you managed to do that? What do you have?
Well, I've been preaching a lot lately on what I call triggers and coping mechanisms. A trigger, you know, obviously like a gun, is something that creates an action. So if you have a trigger, and for me, you know, stress at work can be a trigger where I might have a negative action. So I got to identify my triggers. So if my stress level gets high, I have to have a coping mechanism. And my coping mechanism is basketball. So I am currently in 3 basketball leagues, and I play in the morning anywhere from 3 to 6 mornings a week. So I got to have my coping mechanism so that the stress of, you know, everything else doesn't bother me. But I like to say, with the triggers and the coping mechanism, you need to identify your triggers so that when they're coming up, you know it's coming, and then you have to have a positive coping mechanism. So throughout all of COVID, you know, for me, it's basketball. For my cousin John, it's weightlifting. You know, so he's at the gym and he's weightlifting, and for me, I'm at the gym playing basketball. But you have to have a coping mechanism, and it's been a very trying 13 months. No matter who you are or where you are, whether you're talking individually or professionally, you know, it has been an unprecedented situation. So, you know, having the coping mechanism's great, but ultimately it falls back to, for me, Jeremiah 29:11. You know, for I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. You know, plans not to harm you and prosper and hope. So hope in the future. So regardless of what's going on, I know it's in God's plans, and you know, He has plans for me that are, and for all of our staff that are loving and forgiving, and all end in glory.
Yes, yes. Well, listen, Brian, I appreciate your time. I know you guys are busy. It's
Yeah.
back up again. The sun is out. And I don't know about you. I feel like a new person. I tell you, for probably the last 2 weeks, I've just been beside myself, because I'm like, a couple of days, it just kind of came down on me, and I just kind of went for a walk, you know, and I don't think I've ever done that, not in our building here, but I just kind of took a lap around the block and enjoyed the sun, soaking up some vitamin D, and it is helpful to be able to get out of the building. Thank you so much for sharing with us what's happening in Alexander Body. Thank you all for your partnership with Love Akron, and not just Love Akron, but you all have partnered with us to partner with other organizations to help them to achieve their goals and mission too. Is there anything you'd like to say going out as a partner?
I mean, givers gain, you know, and there's a book or a motto or something out there, but I picked that up years ago, you know, givers gain. So we believe as an organization, we believe as owners, we believe as individuals and believers that you need to give, and give unconditionally, and you will gain. So, you know, that's what we've been doing, and it's continues to work for us. We're 93 years old now. You know I might look a little younger than 93, but you know, the business is 93 years old, and it's our goal and our intentions to keep things, you know, moving forward and thriving for many more years.
Well, you guys have done a great job. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Tell John I said, hey, I miss you today. I'm gonna have to come get my car cleaned up though.
Okay, thanks. You're always welcome.
Thanks. See you later. Well, ladies and gentlemen, there you have it. If your car needs some help, well, Alexander Body, they're a partner of Love Akron. And I'm telling you, they are a gift that just keeps on giving. And they are always there in North Akron trying to help to make the life of the citizens of that community better. Well, without further ado, I know we have Ann Raymond. I don't want to say we saved the best for last, but if anybody knows me, they know that I am passionate about the babies. When you talk about helping the least of these, I remember being in high school, Ann, and what was formerly the clothing room, and then it was another room. It was the final cottage at the end of whatever that side street is there. And I graduated from Hoban, and we had to do a mission service project. And so I chose Summit County Children's Services. And I remember the kids that lived in that cottage. There I was helping to feed them and whatever I could do to help the house mom or monitor, whatever the proper term was, not knowing that I would one day end up supervising mentoring programs that would offer mentoring services to kids. I sort of missed that. And then finally, through that and an episode of one of my mentees standing on the sidewalk crying because a foster parent was going on vacation, she wasn't going, and I had the task of dropping her off at the respite placement. And she had a tough time with it. I remember thinking, I'm going to become a foster parent so that my kids never have to go through this again. But Ann, what was amazing to me is that I knew by every rule written everywhere, I couldn't take my kids home that were part of the mentoring program. But it was almost as if I feel like God blocked that in my mind, because all through that process, I never thought about, well, you can't take kids to your personal home until next thing I know, I'm a foster parent, and two of my kids are now my kids. They're my kids for life. I call Carolyn and Kiki, I call them my bonus babies. I didn't have to go through 24 and then 18 hours of labor for them to get here. They just were given to me. And that has been my experience working with Summit County Children's Services. When I retool, and we talk all the time, I got a few bees in my bonnet, and I want to help kinship care families, and I want to help foster parents understand the importance of being a forever family, not just a temporal. All my kids know they can call me anytime, any place, and I'm still Mama Lori, no matter what. So talk to us about what COVID brought to Summit County Children's Services. Man, how are you guys doing?
We're doing just fine over here. In the past year, again, just like the others, it presented challenges that we've never been faced, before. But I think our organization quickly pivoted to make sure that we were able to provide those essential services and stay close to, on target with our mission, which is our commitment to safety, permanency, and well-being for all children in Summit County and families, and in partnership with our families and community that we serve here. So last year we served 1 out of 12 children in the county. So, we're widespread throughout the county. I think a lot of folks think that we're not in their neighborhoods. We don't, even know what Children's Services does. And that's why, Lori, I just think, love Akron and our partnership, because you guys are truly helping us reach the faith-based community that I know doesn't always know or doesn't have the awareness of how essential and critical our services are in Summit County. Throughout the pandemic, again, like I said, our top priority was to keep the kids safe in this community and making sure that we were able to safely assess for those concerned child abuse and neglect. We still run a 24-hour, 7 days a week hotline, and we're still recruiting for foster parents. So those things have not changed. Those are still very essential to this community.
Yeah, I think many times in terms of the need for foster parents. And I think about sometimes folks are empty nesters and, they've done a great job raising their own kids. But, I just want to speak to that empty nester that might be about 50, 55, and you got a few good years in you and you did well with your children. I remember bringing kids into my home and I had one rule. It was respect. I'm like, I'm never not going to respect you. And respect is not an option in our home. I remember, going out to eat. My birth children, Adam and Ashley, say that my bonus children, Sakiwa and Carolyn, had the best life ever. And I said, well, yeah, I had a little more help with them, but it was that thing in where If we went to Outback, my kids went to Outback. You know, I didn't leave my kids at somebody's house while I went out to dinner. If we went on vacation, our kids went on vacation. And so it was whatever we did. If we're doing mani-pedis, then we're all doing mani-pedis. And it was only if they lost privileges. You know, in my house, everybody went to school and everybody went to work. If you didn't go to school, you got that old plain toast with some orange juice because you're sick, honey, and we want you to get there. And at lunchtime, everybody knows chicken noodle soup is the cure-all for everything, right? So you got chicken noodle soup, you got some ginger ale. For dinner, you get a repeat of that because that's the cure-all. Oh, by the way, we got to take the TV out. We got to take the radio out because you're sick and we want you to heal. Let me tell you what that produced, Dan. All of my kids probably have perfect attendance at work. As adults,
I'm not surprised.
Yeah, they graduated to management position. And so talk to us a little bit about, I know Easter Sunday is coming up. Easter Sunday's coming up, and you guys typically do something with baskets and things like that. Are you doing anything like that this year?
Good question. Well, I'm going to go back to something that you had said about just, treating all the children in your home like they're your family. But when we're looking for foster homes, we're really not just looking for a home. We are looking for families. We believe our vision is that all children deserve a safe family. And we want our foster families, to, treat them like they're your own. And you had mentioned also about, age. Maybe there's an empty nester that you're speaking to or that we're speaking to here today. A lot of folks just kind of automatically rule themselves out and say that, oh, well, I'm probably too old, or I, don't have enough money. I'm not the perfect family. There's no maximum age. The minimum age is 18. The maximum age, there is none. So we want to engage those folks who've ever thought about foster parenting through Children's Services to give us a call. But to speak to the programs, that's one thing that has been a little unfortunate during COVID. We have not really allowed to engage with or able to safely engage with our volunteers who are usually here on our grounds, here in our buildings. And we've really just, kind of taken a hiatus on that at this point. We're still serving children and families, but we've done a lot of through gift card programs, through our very generous community. But so we've pivoted on that a bit through the pandemic, but we so look forward to getting back to some of the child benefit programs that we've been able to offer throughout the years.
Nice. Listen, you guys have done a phenomenal job. Let's go back though, Ann, because I want to just for a minute chat a little bit about, is there, what does the need look like for folks that might be willing to do emergency placement? Because I know that, the record will indicate that I fostered, I think it said 20 something kids. The truth is my forever kids, my 2 bonus babies. And then probably I had one gal that stayed for maybe about 3 years, maybe it was 2 years. But other than that, most of my kids came on an emergency kind of placement. So I'm thinking in terms of, there might be folks out there that would say, oh, so you mean I could just do emergency where I'm not the forever home, but I'm the good transitional place. And I always feel like kids need to go somewhere that makes them feel warm and fuzzy on the inside, with folks who easily help prepare them for where they're going to make their transition not so hard. Because the truth is, not every foster parent that takes an emergency placement keeps those kids forever. Many times they go on to a forever home, if you will. But talk to us a little bit about that, because I think people don't even know that that's a possibility. You may say, and we know I only did teen girls. So I never did a baby. Nobody ever called me. I'm like, not changing no diapers. But I can deal with a rebellious 17-year-old, and I can handle that. A 15-year-old. Talk to us a little bit about that. What some of those dynamics could look like that kind of make folk understand that they might be more qualified than they think they are.
Right. Well, I think that you brought up a good point as well, because I think that, we don't have a lot of folks clamoring down our doors to say, I want teenagers in your home. So Lori, just getting that message out alone, knowing that we still have a need. That's, it's a myth to think that kids don't want a family at their, teenage years. They need a family, and they need strong family and roots, and to be loved. So we do have a need for kids to of all ages. So babies, sibling groups, and teens is what we really need. And so with folks that might be interested is to step up and to look more at the options of fostering. And first off, foster care is temporary in nature. So foster care by definition is for a period of time. It may not be that forever family, but here at Children's Services, we do dually license folks. So when you go through our foster care program, you're not only licensed to foster, but you're also licensed to adopt. So it is a dual license. In the event that you're loving on a child and it does become more permanent, you're automatically licensed to be able to have that first intent to be able to say, I am going to want to be their forever home. But most of the foster kids that are in our homes do reunify. Our percentages last year was 87% of children reunified with a family member or a parent. So we work very hard with our community and our families to partner and to strengthen families and try to rectify the challenges that the families presented when we first got involved with the family. So if you're interested in looking at becoming a foster parent or you have a question, I would say to come to one of our foster care information meetings, and that can be found on our website. Our next information meeting is going to be 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the 30th, day before your birthday. So we run those very often, and they are virtual. And that's the other thing we've been able to do through the pandemic is to switch to really virtual platforms for everything. So we haven't really missed a beat in terms of being able to communicate with our partners, our families, because virtual platforms, it's not, to replace the face-to-face, but, doing the best that we can to be safe for all people, pivoting to the virtual world. So again, next meeting is 6 o'clock on March 30th. So we would love to have people come and join us. And also we have an inquiry line. If you're interested about getting more information or have a packet of information sent to you, you can call our inquiry line at any time, which is 330-379-1990.
And they can go to your website. Your website is, what is your website?
www.summitkids.org. There's a lot on there. There's also links to our social media platforms. We are on Facebook. We do ask people to like and follow us. You can see some of our messaging through our social media platforms. We have a YouTube channel, and we also have Instagram. So there's our website. And if you go down below, you can see, news, learning news and upcoming events. You can also scroll to see our waiting children. Those are children who their parents' parental rights have been terminated and they're waiting. And stories, our annual report. I think our website's got a lot of information about anything you would need to know about child welfare, our response to the community, our response to children and families, child abuse and neglect, and then of course, how to become a foster to adopt foster parent.
Beautiful. I'm going to put a shameless plug out there, Ann, and I'm going to say that if anybody is watching, maybe it's a business owner or just somebody, a lot of times people want to do something good for someone. I'm sure you guys are open to receiving gift cards. So, if somebody to buy $1,000 worth of $10 gift cards, I'm sure you could just drop them off at the front desk of children's.
We even have a drop box out front. So, and those go specifically directly to children, to our families that are in need. And that's really helped us throughout the pandemic to be sure that our kids and families are getting what they need.
Absolutely. And I'm sure that could come from any store because you're not able to do the Easter baskets or things that you would normally do, but a gift card from a local store that would allow folks to go in and be able to purchase those things. That would be great. And then before you know it, folks, Christmas will be back. Remember, these children, until reunified, they still sort of fit in the orphan category because they're not in their normal home. And there's some trauma and some grief that comes along with that. And if there's anything we can do as a community to make their lives a little bit better, I say to us, let's do it. How have you stayed above, plateaued, not, kept balance during COVID? What's been your secret?
Well, I think that much like the other two, just getting outside and trying, to take a walk, breathe the fresh air, have some quiet time for prayer, meditation, deep breathing, and connected, stay connected on virtual platforms with friends and family, and spend that time and just be grateful. Count our blessings instead of our burdens.
Yeah, yeah, amen. I'm gonna say amen to that. You know, I'm a church girl, so I'm gonna say amen. Count
Amen.
our. I agree, and thank you so much. Thank you for the work that you all do at Children's Services. If folks don't know you all behind the scenes, and I've been working with you guys for over 20 years, I see the hard work that goes into reunification, first of all, if and whenever is possible. And then when that is not possible, finding forever homes for our children of our community. Because if our city doesn't take care of our children, there's no way that we will thrive as a community. There's absolutely no way. So thank you and Julie and all of y'all. I'm gonna say all of y'all, as my Kentucky family would say, all of y'all over there at Children's Services on Arlington. We appreciate the partnership that you all have with us. And it is our sheer joy to help you all spread the word about the need that there is for foster, adoptive, and kinship parents to help us help the least of these. And that's the children. They can't speak for themselves, can't fight for themselves. So we have to do it. But
Absolutely.
thank you. Love you bunches.
We thank you too, Lori, and love Akron. Love you guys too. And we send our best wishes to Kemp's full recovery. He's in our thoughts.
Yes. I will let him know. We hope to see him somewhere around the first or second week. I'm a pretty decent gatekeeper. I've kind of held the folks back because we wanted him to just relax. But like I said, coming in, he is walking now outside, taking his normal walks. And
that's great.
That was, yeah. So thank you, Ann. We'll see you soon.
Okay, that sounds great.
I'm going to ask you all to sit tight. I know we're just a little bit over our normal time. We're normally out of here by 2:30. But I'm going to ask you to sit right there, and I'll be right back just for some closing remarks.
Your love for Akron to another level. Start by signing up for Love Akron's monthly emails by visiting loveakron.org. You'll get updates about all the latest Love Akron happenings. You'll learn the ways you can help unify the colors, cultures, and congregations of our communities to see greater Akron thrive. You'll meet changemakers from around the city, plus gain insight on how they're propelling Akron forward, making it a better place to live and work. You'll learn about Love Akron's partnerships and have an opportunity to connect with local organizations actively making a difference citywide. You'll be inspired through Kemp Boyd's monthly Coach's Corner videos and so much more. Visit loveakron.org to sign up for an e-newsletter today. That's loveakron.org. And remember, if you don't do anything else today, love Akron.
Well, thank you all. I hope that you have been helped today. I hope that you have been inspired by our partners. And I want to tell you that if you're interested in being a partner with Love Akron, you're a nonprofit, a business, a church, an organization, and there's a way that you would like to connect with us so that we can help bridge you with like-minded people, please feel free to go to our website, send us a message, give us a phone call at our office. We'd be happy to sit down and meet with you to see how we can continue to work together to make collective impact so that our city thrives. Well, next Wednesday, we won't be here. It's the 5th Wednesday of the month, and we're only here the 1st, 2nd, and the 4th with you. And so you won't see us next Wednesday, but there's all kinds of old, former videos and lives that you can catch up on next Wednesday at 1:30. I want to thank our guests for being with us today. Thank you, Matt Reed. Thank you, Brian Roach. Thank you, Ann Ream, for hanging out with us today during Partners Week as we acknowledged our partners and talked about the benefit of partnership in our city. I want to tell you that on next Wednesday, if you're an early riser, and even if you're not, you don't want to miss Love Akron Connect. You can go to our website at loveakron.org and you can go and sign up to be with us for this month's Love Akron Connect as we talk to hot leaders in our city. Well, Lori, what's a hot leader? That's a person that is humble, open, and transparent. I'm telling you, since January, it's been amazing the information that these leaders have shared with us about how they lead as hot leaders. So we'll be back with that. And then following that, we want you to hang out again with us on the first Wednesday of April. We'll be talking about the One City Initiative. It's a new initiative within Love Akron, but you're going to see how important it is, even though we're many denominations. I want you to remember that when God spoke to the church or to the city, he spoke to the church, the one church of the city. And even though we're many denominations, we are still one church. So stay tuned. Plan to hang out every Wednesday at 1:30 with us right here at Love Akron Live. Again, on behalf of our fearless leader, Coach Kemp Boyd, we want to say thank you for joining us for this week's Love Akron Live. And we want to remind you that if you don't do anything else, make sure that you love Akron. We'll see you the next time. Have a great day.
Much greater need in Akron that I can't see.
I could have eventually, stood up and postured myself in a very prideful way. You kind of lose focus. Sometimes you have to step outside of yourself. And how can we go refocus our attention on how we can serve others in this time?
And so I've just been praying, Lord, how do we see the people that really need the most help? The people that need groceries, the people that need encouragement. And so I thought of Kemp.
If there's a way for us to engage or to be involved, man, we want to do that. And I think that we've been transparent in some of the different events and activities that we've done, not only from the platform of Love Akron, but what we've been able to do now in partnership with other organizations.
Don't do anything else today. Just make sure that you love Akron.
Make sure that you love Akron.
Whatever you do today, wherever you go today, just make sure that you love Akron.
And early on, one of the things I said to Coach Kemp was, I'm like, I'm an employee of Love Akron. We're going to do this black and white conversation, conversation versus collision. I said, Coach, if we're going to do this, and then we're going to get to that point where we're just rocking and singing Kumbaya, I was like, then can I respectfully ask that you count me out? Because one, if this is not a forever challenge or assignment, if this is not something that we're going to do forever, I just don't want to do it. I want to do something that's going to truly make impact. So I think it's important for us to make note of the fact that this is a commitment from Love Akron forever.